I don't think we were able to really showcase INexorable's skill either. Like, when it came to that last game, it was just the nonsense of Sephiroth and INexorable was able to shut it down, but it was just really chaotic. It was really chaotic. But now we're jumping into our next game, into our next series, and spawning in the bottom right, sorry, the top right hand corner of Alcyone, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, representing Team Hellfire from the land of Brazil, it is MasTeR. We go. Yeah, when it comes to these big events, when it comes to Code for Giants Cup, we look at players like INexorable, we look at players like MasTeR, look at players like Eric as well, Yan. Those are the players that typically make these deep runs. Eric wasn't here for Code for Giants Cup number 7, so it's great to see him here for number 8. Likewise, we have some of the best in Brazil facing off. One of these days, we need Diego. We need Kellezer. Where is he? Need Kellezer to make his debut. One of these days. Until then, we can see MasTeR checking for proxies, scouting the linear third base, checking the triangular third as well. A little bit paranoid. Making sure that everything's on the up and up. Likewise, back at home, INexorable going for an economic opener, going for a Rax Expand single gas here for INexorable. Single gas opener, then CC on the low ground. Again, MasTeR will confirm what's going on. I was just sipping on some water, making sure I was hydrated. Also, I can see how someone in the chat earlier was saying that, like, oh, I thought this was Frost Giants Cup. I'm looking at the title. I can definitely see how you could read it at that. Code 4 Giants Cup, Frost Giants Cup. Yeah, I understand. I understand the confusion. I understand. We have yet to really broadcast any Stormgates. Maybe we will eventually, but for now, all about the StarCraft. See what happens in the future. Now Reaper getting across the map. Twilight Council has been thrown down in the main for MasTeR, so it's going to be a Blink-based opener. Honestly, quite refreshing. Like, this is a standard build out of MasTeR, but after seeing so many Robo openers, I'm like, Blink openers, they still exist. Let's go. I'm happy. I'm happy to see it. I appreciate it. The Twilight Council's on the way. Adept does threaten the shade. Reaper dips in, and we get a full scout. We get eyes on the Twilight Council, and INexorable is aware of Blink. Is aware of what's going on. Behind this, getting to his 1-1-1. Reaper dips away. And the question becomes, how many gateways? How many gateways? Is it going to be 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalkers? MasTeR has options to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more aggressive. Reaper dips in and gets eyes on the upgrade. With this, at least confirms that it's not going to be a Dark Shrine, as he sees the building researching. So at least there's that. But shouldn't get much else, as Reaper does get the hell out. And we have 2 extra gates on the way. Okay, so we have at least 3. It's going to be 3-gate Blink Stalker, 3-gate Blink. It's a very safe way to play. It's very middle of the road. Oh, as we sneak up on that Adept. And barely will shut it down as it commits to the shade. But it's very middle of the road. 4-gate Blink is hyper aggressive. 2-gate Blink is more economic and more greedy. 3-gate Blink is just a nice middle road here. It allows us to be safe against these early pushes. Likewise, allows us to be a little bit more assertive on the map and go for these counterattacks. MasTeR has those options available to it. Meanwhile, INexorable, moving out across the map, likewise, looking to be a little bit more assertive here. We can try to maybe take down the pylon. Yeah, the medevac is on the way. The goal here is to try to punish the production, the tech. I imagine. We'll see if we go for the cliff here, or if we go for the natural. Where are we headed? Behind this, third CC's on the way. We're going for the natural. Going for the natural base to shield, but we're going for the bunker. Oh my god. INexorable. Calm down. Bunker's being thrown down right outside. Shield battery is done, but we're barely out of range. Adept does go down. And we do manage to focus down the SCV just barely. Yeah, we deny the bunker. Bunker is cancelled, and from here, we're going to be able to clean up these Marines. Remember, there's no stim. We do get one Stalker, but we shut down every single Marine at the same time. We go for the Cyclone jump into the main, and we're getting damage done. Marines are going down. Recall into the natural. We get 6-7 probe kills. But Blink has completed, and we barely don't catch the medevac. Oh my god. INexorable. He gets away. He does get away. Does escape. Phew, and was that worth it? That is the question. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned. It did cost us a lot of Marines. It was basically a one-to-one trade, Marine for a probe. I would say, I mean, the economic damage was a little bit more impactful as we get 4 more probes in the main. Oh my god. INexorable. He's not stopping. Liberator is popping off. We're getting damage done. MasTeR falling a little bit behind here in the economy. And INexorable back at home is looking to embrace his own. Again, third CC is almost done. We can land the third base and boost into the mid-game. It's going to be the goal here, the plan for INexorable. I am concerned that INexorable did throw away a little bit too much supply and is vulnerable. But for the time being, we're going to be okay. We're keeping MasTeR pinned back at home. The most important thing is that the medevac is alive. Because the medevac is still up and running, it means that MasTeR has to keep supply back at home to defend. So even though we're moving out, it's just for scouting, just to poke in. We can't be as committed as we otherwise would hope to be. It isn't just a drop, it's the Liberator as well. So that is 6 Stalkers stuck at home. So very nicely done here by INexorable. Back at home, we're getting to our 3-1-1, soon to be 5-rack setup. Third CC yet to be taken, but soon we will once we have an army to defend. MasTER's attempting to keep INexorable honest. With the Observer spotted. Oh my god, we barely don't get it. Observer is barely not gotten. Oh, I'm not familiar with Gruntar, but maybe a new Brazilian caster? Maybe. We are getting ready to poke in. I want to say that was in reference to the Observer. I want to say. The Observer's on 4 HP. Meanwhile, Stalkers, they dip in, they get 2 SCVs. Not bad. They will escape, but alas, INexorable will now establish his third base. And with that, we'll be able to boost ahead in the economy. You can see that MasTER's on his own third base as well. We have a comparable worker count, but honestly, a Protoss player wants to be up a base compared to a Terran, because it isn't just about the SCVs, it's about the mules as well. So INexorable is in a good position economically, I will say. Looking solid. You are moving out across the map. Likewise, MasTER does spot the move out with the Observer, is aware. Scan reveals the main army, and INexorable trying to bait the army within tank range. Scan making sure there's no Observer. And INexorable does have dive potential. Oh, Stim's in. A little bit early, a little bit premature. And the Stim is wasted. Tanks and sieging up, we're slowly encroaching upon the third base. We do have 1 shield battery, 1 overcharge. Likewise, we can't really push up the ramp. Meanwhile, MasTER pushes down. Oh my god. Does push down the ramp and will barely get on top of the tanks. It blazes through those Marines, and the tanks are going to be going down. And the Colossus survive. A very dominant fight here from MasTER. Shuts down the tanks, shuts down the push. I was a little bit concerned that MasTER was moving out of range of the shield battery, but apparently didn't need it. Didn't need the shield batteries. Had a concave. And INexorable is now in a rough position. I was praising INexorable for his economy for his third base, and I still stand by that. But that was a lot of supply thrown away. And now suddenly we don't really have any pushing power here. We have some drops, that is true, but not much more than that. And the other scary thing is that we didn't lose any Colossus, right? MasTER didn't lose any Colossus. We have 3 Colossus already. Which means MasTER can soon move out. And INexorable does spot the move out, does spot the main army. It's going to bleed out a lot of Marines. At the same time, we're setting up a big counterattack, and the hope here is to force MasTER to turn around. To force MasTER to defend. As we do Stim in. And we hit the third base. Sorry, we hit the natural. Oh, getting some Zealots. The Nova comes off. Yeah, the disruptor has arrived. Nova goes off, and we will shut this down. Aye, aye, aye. Looks like the Medivacs will be able to escape just barely, despite the detection, despite the observer. INexorable will get away. Thankfully, does save a lot of supply, but MasTeR is still looking quite comfortable. We're on 4 bases. We're getting the gold. The 5th base is on the way. MasTeR is looking quite comfortable, and INexorable back at home is still building up, but... Oh, I just realized. My apologies. There we go. Did I have the player name switched? Apologies. But INexorable is building up back at home and is at least left alone, but doesn't really have much to work with here. He's down in supply, getting a 4CC. And here comes the move out. MasTeR getting to double disruptor production. Cruising speed is on the way. Speaking of, War Prism does drop some zelts into the mineral line. Into the 3rd. MasTeR catching the drop again. He has the observer, does see everything, and will clean this up. It's going to be 3 Medivacs full of units going down. Big loss for INexorable. This observer being the MVP. Saw everything. And MasTeR is now moving out. We will at least shut down the Prism. The Prism does go down, thankfully. Prism does fall. But with 3 Colossus and 3 Disruptors, it's going to be a tough hold here for INexorable. It's not going to be easy. MasTeR does move in. Never goes off. Oh, doesn't quite connect, but zones away the army. As MasTeR is attempting to go for a bit of a pincer move. INexorable's keeping up. We are slowly taking our 4th base. Ghosts have arrived. We have EMPs. But Disruptors, they don't care about your EMPs. Never goes off. No! Massive connection! And Massive Nova goes off. Another one as well. The splits are not there. The splits are not what we need them to be. And with that, another Nova. This time we do avoid it, thankfully. Nova doesn't quite connect. But the others did. And with that, INexorable plummets in supply. The Colossus are going down, but what about the ground army? What about the Zealots, the Stalkers, the Gateway army? Nova goes off and takes down more Marauders, more Ghosts. The balls are a little bit too good. The Vikings land, but it does not matter. Not anymore, as MasTeR has broken the 3rd base. Getting into the mineral line, GG gets called, and MasTeR will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. MasTeR will take a lead in this series. Again, it was a rough start for INexorable. I mean, I say a rough start. Was able to successfully get into his 3rd base. I was able to get some economic damage done early on, but things very quickly swung in favor of the Protoss with the failed move out. With the failed push when we were parked outside of the natural base with our tanks, with our bio army, and when INexorable lost everything outside of the 3rd base. That was a brutal moment, and INexorable wasn't able to recover from that moment. After that, of course, it led into his triple dropping, getting caught out as well, and MasTeR was able to retain his Colossus and get into Disruptors and just build up a death bull of an army. And with that, MasTeR does take a lead, but it's a best of 3. You know, I want to believe that we can bring it back here and make a series out of this, but the pressure is now on INexorable. The pressure is on, as we're getting into game number 2 on Site Delta. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. Currently down in the series, looking and hoping to fight back here and now to force the ace match. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Hellfire. 1 game away from making it to the grand finals. It is MasTeR. Go. Here we go. It's once again, MasTeR is going to be checking the linear third base. If you recall, at the beginning of Game 1, MasTeR was very vigilant when it came to scouting for proxies. It looks like here in Game 2, doing the same. Checking the linear third, checking the triangular third as well, making sure that there is no shenanigans going on from the side of the Terran. So MasTeR's playing it safe. Back at home, INexorable setting up a standard opener. It looks like a Rax Expand. Once again, economic opener from the Terran player. Very similar to Game 1. We're not really spicing things up too much. There's no double gas, there's no faster factory. But I'm curious if INexorable is going to try to go for something more aggressive this time. I'm referring to a 3 Rax or a 2 base all-in. And we'll keep an eye on INexorable. As we're moving out with our worker scouts, Probe does confirm the CC on the low ground, so MasTeR is aware of the more economic start. Likewise, INexorable doing the same. Dipping in, getting eyes, making sure there's no like 2 gate opener, for example, or anything crazy like that. Making sure nothing is out of the norm. Speaking of, the Probe is... okay. is coming back home. I was like, is going through an interesting attack path or interesting scouting path. Making sure there's no proxy starport, for example, and also hoping to avoid the Reaper. Doesn't make it back home. Speaking of Reaper, there is none. Interesting. So thankfully, INexorable does at least go for the SCV scout, but he skips the Reaper this time, going for the Marine instead. Oh my god, and that's going to be a 3cc! That is a 3rd CC before factory, before starport. It looks like 3cc 3 racks. We'll see if we commit here to... yeah, there's no gas. There's no gas, so we should be seeing, yep, a 2nd and a 3rd racks as well. So a very greedy, very economic start here from INexorable. This is something that we see more often on Side Delta. The reason for this is because Side Delta is one of the more defendable maps on 2 bases. Because of the ramp coming into the natural, you can get away with some greed. Can get away with that greed. Likewise, the main base, it is a little bit more difficult to go for 4-gate blink, to blink into the main and try to punish the Terran player, just because of this brutal choke point as well. There just is less room to kind of maneuver around. So in the end, INexorable is being hyper greedy, and we'll see if he gets away with it. Meanwhile, MasTeR, once again, 3-gate blink. Same build. Same build 2 games in a row from MasTeR, very middle of the road, is very safe, allows us to be a little bit assertive across the map, getting to blink stalkers, and this is good for INexorable. You know, the fact that this is a bit of a safer build from the Protoss player means that the Terran can cut corners, get away with his greed, and build up towards the mid game. Now, the scariest thing about this build is the mid game. It's not about, you know, the stim timing. There is going to be a stim timing here with this 3 racks. We do have a lot of Marines to work with. But the scariest thing is because this 3rd base gets online so fast, it means that the Terran player just booms ahead economically in the mid-game and it explodes into, or I should say, it's reflected in the supplies, right? The production does explode and we can max out real quick. And the pressure is going to be on MasTeR to figure this out. To recognize what's going on and punish it. If he doesn't, it's going to be a rough road to travel here for MasTeR. Behind this, War Prism's on the way. MasTeR in position for drop play. We can see there is no drop play because there's no starport. So MasTeR again is playing very safe and very secure, and it isn't really paying off.
Research complete.
So War Prism does move out. As we mentioned before, there is going to be an initial stim timing from INexorable. It is going to hit a little bit later once stim kicks in. We're going to have a lot of Marines to work with. A lot of Marines. Again, we'll see if MasTeR should be able to keep up at least with the initial move outs. With all these stalkers. I mean, that is a lot of stalkers. Is a lot to work with. At the natural base, the bunker is ready. Likewise, in the main, we have Marines in position as well. Stim is almost done, but not quite yet. We catch the Marines! No! They evacuated the bunker. The bunker is empty, and the bunker is going to go down. Ay, ay, ay. That was a brutal move out from INexorable. Backup bunkers on the way. Marauders have arrived, and we should be able to hold on to the natural. But MasTeR did find a lot of damage. Stim is not yet done. Boys are being pulled. And we're bleeding out a lot of Marines. We do focus fire the first Marauder. The Prism. Oh my god. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, I apologize for the stream going down. I do apologize. It's a big sigh. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. A shout out to Sort of for raiding us earlier. From then, we have since lost most of the raid. Feels bad, man. And for those that are wondering, for those that are curious, there's something that's been wrong with our internet for a while now. The internet was dropping like on a daily basis last week or 2 weeks ago. Just every single day, the internet was dropping randomly throughout the day. And I called up our ISP. And they sent a technician over on Monday after EWC. After EWC concluded, I had to stay up a little bit longer. A technician came, took a look at what was going on, why that was happening, what was going on, and apparently there was a faulty line. There was like a faulty line. There was like some issues that had happened earlier in the year where like there was I think there was like an accident like in the area and had like impacted and affected some of the connections that were around, and they replaced like the line, they fixed it, and yesterday we streamed like most of the day, and the internet it held on. Like the internet did not drop yesterday. I was like, oh, it's beautiful, it's crazy, for the first time in forever, like we're able to stream and the internet doesn't drop. And then the internet just dropped today, so maybe the issues haven't been resolved. I mean, it's possible that maybe this was a one-off. You know, maybe it's copium, maybe it's a one-off, and maybe the internet just happened to go down, and we're still fine. I'll keep an eye on it. Definitely, I'll keep an eye on it throughout the week. And log if the internet ever does drop again, and if it does, then technician's gonna have to come back, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Smurge, puppy, smurge. So. Yeah, that's gonna be the plan. Otherwise, again, I do apologize for the stream going down. We were in the middle of our series. We were in game number 2. I don't know when the stream cut off, unfortunately. So I think I was casting for like an extra minute or so before I noticed that the stream had gone down. So we're gonna be jumping back in. I did kind of rewind a little bit here, and we'll be jumping back into game 2 of MasTeR versus INexorable. As a reminder, for some context of what was going on. If you remember, INexorable did go for a greedy 3cc 3-racks build. Likewise, MasTeR went for 3-gate blink. MasTeR was punishing INexorable, was getting a lot of damage done, was trading well, was able to shut down and catch Marines, able to shut down and catch the bunker. Boys are being pulled, and INexorable was kind of trying to scramble together a defense. Stim was kicking in, and now we can jump back in. Whew. Let's go. Okay, we did initially deflect the push. Meanwhile, MasTeR does reinforce. He goes for another big warp in, and MasTer's still trying to keep the pressure on, still trying to punish INexorable. The bunker was replaced, was rebuilt. It's not going to stop MasTeR as he does commit once again. Stim is now done. We can push on forward. We force back the Stalkers lead for a moment. Stalkers are going down. You can see the difference here. Once Stim is done, we can try to fight back, but we lost so many Marines throughout the course of this defense. And INexorable, he has to back up. Does back up. More boys being pulled again. We have to work with the defense, with a bunker, with the ramp. Ooh, another Marauder gets sniped. Good pick up here by MasTeR. Another Marauder goes down as well. Expensive losses for INexorable. Concussive Shell is just finishing +1 as well. As MasTeR goes for the drop into the main. Stalkers in low ground, drop into the main base. And we will disrupt some of the production. We get eyes on the CC. Okay, we get the Prism. Up! We can! Prism goes down. Yeah, the War Prism will fall. Just barely. With that INexorable, he should be able to shut this down. He should be able to defend. No more reinforcements. And INexorable will hold. But as the dust does settle, how much did we lose? Oh my god, we're not done. We're not done. Another Marauder. Good pickup. Another Marauder goes down. But last, it's been 6 Marauders, 24 Marines, 10 SCVs for 8 Stalkers. We scan across the map. We confirm that there is indeed a third base up and running. And MasTeR so far has done a great job here at punishing the greed of INexorable and catching up behind it. Getting to his third base, getting a secure economy, and more importantly, delaying the third base of INexorable for as long as we can. INexorable may have gotten a third base earlier, but it's not landed. It's not on location. We don't have the worker count. We don't have the economy. Not yet. So he is being contained. MasTeR backing up. Now, MasTeR has to be very careful just because Stim is now done, so we can threaten the army of MasTeR that much more. So you have to be careful. You have to tread lightly. Turret is on the way. I imagine for the War Prism. INexorable a little bit paranoid. I mean, he did already kill the War Prism, but concerned about another drop. Likewise does move out, but MasTeR does spot this. Spots to drop towards the north, spots to move out in the center of the map. MasTeR, he does rotate, and INexorable doesn't commit, thankfully. Again, because INexorable got spotted, because both of his armies got spotted, it is wiser to just pull back to respect his opponent and to establish a third. MasTeR does confirm the army came back home, which means he can once again start to move out. Oh my, that's a lot of zealots. As charge is now done, we're going to be embracing a more gateway heavy composition. We have Colossus on the way, working towards a splash damage, and INexorable is moving out across the map. That's quite an army. We have our upgrades. We have 1-1. 1-1 is done. We scan the third base. We get eyes on the Colossus. That is going to be quite intimidating. INexorable doesn't commit. Colossus is up and running. We have the Ghost Academy on the way. It looks like INexorable is going to back off, going to settle into his third base, and going to take up, macro up, and work towards a bit of a later game. You can see here as well, if INexorable does move out, we have a Zealot run by poised to hit the third. Here we go. From here, MasTeR will back off, will retreat. Zealot run by this initial Zealot will just get eyes on the main army, confirm that it's in position. I say that we actually commit. Yeah, Zealots are revealed. Now INexorable is aware of the Zealot run by. But throughout all this, we've been building up more Colossus. We now have 2. Colossus are in the mix. Fourth base on the way. MasTeR going to be reinforcing, going for extra sentries. At the same time, INexorable coming in from behind. Let's go. Yeah, we do flank the army. Likewise, Zealots come in from the north as well. We don't quite go for the Prism. Nice juggling here with the Colossus. Oh my god. The juggling is good, but what about the Gateway army? The Stalkers are going down. The Zealots as well. We're getting some of the Colossus, and we will shut it down. At the same time, oh my god, a massive Zealot counterattack. 20 SCVs. I was curious where all the Zealots were. If Zealots at the third, they cleaned up. Zealots at the natural, they get 20 worker kills. MasTeR does cripple the economy. And INexorable can't move out. He has to deal with this. And the question becomes, can INexorable punish MasTeR? Back at home, we have another big warp in. Most of the Zealots were saved. There's still 1 Colossus up and running. Second Colossus halfway done. And INexorable is moving out. And again, he needs to punish this in some way. MasTeR's getting a 5th. He's in the midst of getting a 5th base. And can we knock down the 3rd or the 4th? Scan reveals the main army. INexorable moving out. Does have EMPs. Oh, the first EMP does miss. Not ideal. 2 EMPs left. We do hit the 3rd base. And it looks like we will barely get the 3rd. The 3rd does go down. Nice pickoff. So far, so good. INexorable kiting back. Trading with the Zealots. The ghosts are exposed. We get an EMP, but 1 ghost goes down. Just the 1. Okay. INexorable, he holds his own. I mean, those upgrades. 2-2 is done. 3-3 is on the way, and we have 0-0 for MasTeR. The upgrades are kicking in. And it means that the Gateway army is that much more fragile. It melts. The upgrades are carrying. There's going to be a window. There's going to be a window where the Terran has 3-3 and the Protoss has 0-0, which is crazy. Crazy to think of. As 1-1 did just begin. I mean, with the help of Chrono, we can maybe try to catch up and get 1-1 in time for that timing, but it's going to be close. It's going to be close. As INexorable is going for a split push. Again, he was able to knock down the third base. He's keeping MasTeR busy. We have another move out here towards the south. I believe we have not scouted the fifth base yet, but we're at least going for the fourth. Distracting the Colossus. Colossus are distracted. Prism tries to go in, and the turrets do deny it. And we knock down the third base once again. We force a cancel. What else are being cleaned up? We do have Widow Eyes back at home. So far, nice defense. INexorable, he doesn't lose any SCVs back at home. Not this time. As again, the EMPs. Ooh, they connect with the Colossus. Massive EMPs. Zealots, they crumble. Once again, we deny the base. We don't allow MasTeR to expand. Oh, he's trying, though. It's crazy. Going for the third base once again. Immediately. I mean, the Colossus doing well for themselves. Like, the Colossus, they're carrying this army. 1-1 is now done. 3-3, about to kick in for INexorable. And checking his vision, yeah, he hasn't seen the fifth base, but he's headed there. He's headed for the fifth. Up. It does him in. He goes for the Colossus. Doesn't quite get it. We had a decent EMP. And we break through the Immortal. But we're barely not getting on the Colossus. Oh, never mind. We are. Just barely. We get one. We get one, and we don't quite get the second overcharge. It is popped. Barely keeps it alive. But we zone the army away, and now we have eyes on the fifth. It's still quite close. The supplies are still neck and neck. INexorable getting his own fourth base. Planetary is done. Still rallying across the map. The Disruptor's now in the mix. Okay, with a good Nova, we can hold. The Prism up. Oh, barely escapes. Does get away. Was clutch. Likewise, the army rotates. We have plenty of shield batteries. Decent EMP on the Zealots. With the help of 3 Colossus there, we can hold our own. Even without upgrades, Nova goes off, takes down the Marauders. But the Stalkers are falling. Oh my god. Again, the Stalkers, they crumble before the Bio. We shut them down time and time again. We need more Zealots. We need more of a buffer here. Expensive losses for MasTeR. Sure, he retains the Colossus, but the Disruptor went down. The Stalkers as well. Oh my god, an ambitious blink. As MasTeR is punished. And the scary thing here is that INexorable, he's replacing this army, and MasTeR is taking him quite some time to replace his. Morphing in another wave of Zealots. Stimming in, we get a Colossus for free. Very nice pickoff. Colossus goes down, we get 1, we get 2. And now there's 1 Colossus left. For so long, the Colossus have been holding on against this army, but now we only have 2 left. And barely anything to protect them. GG, well played, and INexorable ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're getting into the ace match here. Again, MasTeR, or I should say INexorable, was able to snowball out of control eventually with his economy, with his third base, with his upgrades. We had some good moments for the Protoss player, if you remember, where he was able to cripple the economy and get 20 plus SCV kills with that massive Zealot counterattack. That is true, but unfortunately he did end up falling behind in those upgrades, and the quality of his army wasn't quite able to keep up and catch up. If he was able to get into additional Disruptors or into Storm, if he was able to get into these units that don't rely on your gateway army, if they don't rely on your upgrades, then we can make up for that. But as we saw, we were heavily reliant on Zealots, heavily reliant on Stalkers, and that's where upgrades do impact the Protoss army the most, is relying on those units. And that is where INexorable was able to thrive. And with that, we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Whew. Let us go. So we are going to be jumping in. And again, I apologize for the stream going down earlier. Shout out to those that did stick around. Shout out. Thank you. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Thank you. As we do continue the event and continue the semifinals, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brazilian Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. We go. And I'll be honest, I'm shocked that we're loading into Ghost River as the ace match. How did this map make it through the vetoes, Pappy? Like, what happened? What went on in the vetoes? So I'm a little bit shocked, a little bit surprised, and I'm ready to embrace a Ghost River. A very small map, smallest map in the map pool, very short rush distance as well. I believe rush distance is 1 second longer than post youth, but short nonetheless. And we do see a MasTeR, as he has done every game so far, is checking for proxies. Did so in game 1, did so in game 2, and now doing so here in game 3 as well. Does confirm. Let's move out across the map. Does fewer bases equal shorter game? Not necessarily. It's one of those things where, because the rush distance by ground is so short, all-ins can be a little bit more favored. You can be hyper-aggressive and in the face of your opponent. We've seen a lot of all-ins on Ghost River. At the same time, though, if the players don't decide to be overly aggressive, then you can actually see some split map scenarios. We have seen time and time again, this map specifically, because of its layout, is prone to cutting the map in half right down the middle and slowing the game down, but that is usually the case in other matchups, specifically like Zerg versus Protoss or Zerg versus Terran. Terran versus Protoss, we have seen that a little bit less, but that might just be because I've seen less TVPs on this map, period. We shall see. But the reason why you can cut the map in half is because of this choke point. I say this choke point. There's a choke point here in between the natural and the third. Likewise, there are these ramps here outside of the third base as well. Because there are so many ramps, because there are so many choke points, you can take a very strong defensive stance and kind of slow the game down in that way. Meanwhile, Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener here out of MasTeR is once again going for Blink. We've seen the Twilight Council every game so far. And back at home, we do have a more economic opener here by INexorable. CC getting up and running, going for the factory into Cycling behind this, into, I imagine, a 1-1-1. We have yet to see a Rax before Starport from INexorable, and this would not be a bad map for it, but there it is. Starport is on the way. So just a standard 1-1-1 here from INexorable. This tells us that the chances of this being a 2-base all-in is a little bit lower. It's less likely. It's going to be less likely for INexorable. Let's Reaper shut down. But yeah, when it comes to like the length of like the average game on a map, it does come down to the distinct features of the map itself. There are some smaller maps that aren't as defensive. I think famously, if you remember a couple of seasons ago on, not Post Youth, I keep forgetting the name of the map. Neo Humanity, that's it. Neo Humanity. We had some of the longest games on Neo Humanity, despite how short the rush distance was. It's actually quite similar to Ghost River in a sense, where Neo Humanity also had a very short rush distance by ground, which meant there were a lot of all-ins, but if you didn't all-in, then we enter a long game. Like, we enter like the giga late game on Neo Humanity. So, in a way, it's a map of extremes. Or at least Neo Humanity was a map of extremes. This one, at times, it can be. As INexorable is going for his drop across the map. Moving through the south side. Likewise, MasTeR getting in position to expand and take his third base. Quickly checking the build of choice. 2 gateways in low ground, 1 gateway in the main. So once again, 3-gate blink. MasTeR has gone for the same build every single game so far. Just a bit of a safer, kind of middle-of-the-road build here. 3-gate blink allows the Stalkers to be active. Meanwhile, the drop is moving out. So far, just vanilla Marines. Have our Marines moving out towards that main. Third base is being taken. And we do boost into the main base, and there's not much at home to defend. Oh, so far so good. With the 9 mining time, we get a worker. Stalkers do warp back at home. Going for the medevac. Medevac does survive. We pick up one of the stalkers. Going for more probe kills. We get a second probe, but we were hoping for more damage. Hoping for more workers. Ooh, as the medevac does fall. And we will clean this up. Not without losing 5 probes, though. Not bad. And a second stalker. Okay. 5 probes, 2 stalkers for a medevac full of marines. Not bad. And back at home, we're still building up. 3rd CC now on the way. So again, it's not a 2-base all-in from INexorable. Building up towards a 3rd base. And interesting, MasTeR, as we scan, we confirm the 3rd. MasTeR this time opted not to go for the War Prism. So, does have some stalkers across the map, but this time is not reinforcing. MasTeR instead goes for a much faster Bay. Bay into Extend Double Lands into Colossus. So this time we're taking up into splash damage into Robotech a little bit faster compared to the previous game. Rushing into Colossus. And this time the Stalkers, they're being used more so to contain the Terran player than to really get any damage done. We're just here to keep the Terran in check and to keep up with any drop play. Speaking of, drops are moving out. Double drop towards the south. MasTeR keeps 1 Stalker in position, the rest do move out. We have units fanned out across the map. We have scatter pylons, adepts, stalkers, all designed to catch the drop play of his opponent. So far, MasTeR hasn't seen it yet, but again, he's still fanning out his stalkers. Looking for the drops. The main army does move out, was spotted by that stalker. INexorable getting in position. Colossus are ready. Scan misses the Colossus. Uh-oh. INexorable doesn't know. Now he does. Does him in. Does force a siege. A lot of Marines going to be going down. The mine shots. Ooh, we get 1. 1 mine goes off, but most of the Marines did go down. And then INexorable just doesn't have much pushing power. Does expand behind this. Takes his 3rd base. But we spoke about it. These Rams can be brutal to push into. And we're going to be able to hold on. Rocks are being knocked down, again, just to gain a little bit greater access to this ramp. Like, if tanks siege up behind these rocks, it is so difficult for the Zealots to get on top of the tanks. But the rocks have been knocked down. Oh! Almost overextend. Regardless, we have the high ground. We do dive on forward. We're getting on top of the tanks, and the tanks are falling. We get both tanks, we get every single Widow Mine. MasTeR does shut this down. Does keep pushing even as well. I mean, he's got 3 Colossus, does have a lot of power behind this. INexorable, gonna be retreating. Behind this, 2nd Starport is on the way. Getting to Mass Liberator, interesting. Handful of libs on the way. And as MasTeR defends, we have another base. We have a 4th on the way. His economy is still looking strong. 2nd Robo, Forge for upgrades, double road production into disruptors. MasTeR's looking solid, and INexorable's in some trouble here. Without tanks, without any siege units. Can we hold on? Can we defend? Bunker is still on the way. And we're forcing our way in. INexorable may have just lost too much. We have the libs, though. The freedom is here. Freedom has arrived, but we do need to push a little bit further forward. First lib is going to go down. Oh, the force! Oh my god! The force fields! The force fields are brutal. A lot of fire does fall. Yeah, we deny the 3rd base. And the 3rd has been broken. And INexorable's being punished for his move out. Punished for his push. He lost a little bit too much, and now the SCVs are falling left and right. We get 8 SCV kills. We deny the 3rd base. And MasTeR, he's got his War Prism. He can reinforce on the front lines. There's not much slowing him down. I mean, the Liberators are a nice touch. They can try to slow this down, but oh, with enough Stalkers, we can focus them. We can target them. Getting more SCVs. And honestly, we don't even have to push in. Like, we're expanding. We have a 4th. MasTeR has double the base count of his opponents. And all we have to do is contain. Oh! Get 1 more lib. The punish is real. Nice force fields. Yeah, using the choke point against the Terran. Punishing the dive. And again, there's no reason for MasTeR to overstay his welcome. He does retreat, does back off, and is getting ready for a 5th. Oh my god. It's a little bit unnecessary. We don't need a 5th base, but at this point, why not? Why not? It's greedy, that is true. As Liberation has arrived, we lock down the ramp. But here on the left-hand side, it's a little bit harder to lock down. Yeah, we can focus on libs. We're a little bit a late response. Oh, another Liberator is exposed. And we're just picking INexorable apart. We are making 4 Liberators at a time, which is crazy. But speaking of the main base, we do warp in right into the main. One Colossus goes down. MasTeR does overextend for a moment there. But the Zealots are wreaking havoc, and INexorable is being pulled apart left and right. Cannot keep up. Not like this. Not in this kind of game state, as we get 19 SCVs and we are still wreaking havoc. We have more Liberators, but oh god, against all these Zealots, they can barely keep up. And we go for the dive. We have plenty to work with. GG gets cold, and MasTeR will shut down the main army, pull INexorable apart, and take the series at 2-0. GG. Oof. Oh my god. GG, well played. You can see how much this map can punish you. Winding it back a little bit, what had occurred is INexorable had moved out across the map with his tank-based army. He got completely cleaned up, and in a matter of seconds, again, because of how small this map is, MasTeR counterattacked. He counterattacked real quick, and INexorable just didn't have the time to recover, didn't have the time to set himself up. If he was given, you know, 30 more seconds, 20 to 30 more seconds, we would have had the Liberators a little bit faster, would have been able to hold on to the ramps, both locations, and then we might have a different kind of game state here. If you remember, the bunker was barely not done as well. We had a bunker on the way at the 3rd base, which barely didn't finish in time. And again, MasTeR able to just snowball out of control with that counterattack. And MasTeR advances on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. MasTeR does advance on. INexorable is going to be eliminated from the tournament. My condolences to INexorable. Again, did well for himself to make it here to the ace match. But yeah, it was an interesting map choice here for Ghost River. Interesting vetoes that did take place to land on Ghost River as well. I'm a little bit surprised that INexorable didn't try to go for a 2-base all-in. That's a little bit more commonplace, especially from the side of Terran in this matchup. Went for a different kind of, a more macro-oriented game instead, and yeah, was punished for his own aggression. But with that, we wrap up the semis, and we're getting ready for the grand finals. We haven't been able to cast him yet today, but here he is, the man of the hour. We are going to be jumping into Eric versus MasTeR.